Hello and welcome. This is Tina Marie St. Cyr, and thank you so much for lending your time and your attention to these words that we will be sharing over the next 30 to 40 minutes. Welcome to Light Your Life. Today, what I'd love to share and to speak towards and ask questions around is self-sabotage, doubt, hesitance, worry, even guilt that we have inside of our own psyches. Now, it's not really a easy conversation to have, and I'm glad we're doing this basically in private, just you and I. Because what I've found is having these outward conversations with people around us that we most love, or even with other humans, even though we know at some level each of us have these experiences, it's really hard to connect there. A self humbleness, a humility, a vulnerability that feels unsafe at times. So, together, you and I can dive in together. And what I want to share with you today is part of my own story around dealing with self sabotage, doubt, hesitance, worry, the feelings of not being good enough, not being lovable, and those thoughts that led to a very tender place in my life where I doubted that living was even necessary or worth anything more, right? I'd already done everything that I thought I was here to do, and the rest of life seemed like it was going to be a big, arduous journey. So, if you've ever been there, or if you are there, or if you know somebody who is there in any shape or form, from self doubt and hesitance and not feeling as though we have much to bring to the equation of life, to that really dark place of thinking, life's probably not worth living. Anywhere along that spectrum, you're in the right place right now. And then I'm also going to tap into a workbook that I'm holding. And this workbook is for an event that I, over many years, developed, arranged, produced, cultivated, created, and it's helped thousands of people. I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for the journey. And had my life not been ultimately, devastatingly painful, what I'm holding in my hand would never have come. Isn't it interesting how on the other side of pain, when we finally surmount it, when we finally get to that other destination, we can look back upon the betrayal, the heartache, the pain, the guilt, the regret, the not knowing. We can look back upon it and have like a 2020 viewpoint. Not that 2020 is a good number anymore given last year, the 2020 vision, right? In hindsight, we have wisdom of what we were going through. So in my 30s, I can tell you that my insecurities and my self-esteem issues and my not feeling a part of and being the weird one, even being the ugly one, I can tell you that those stories inside of my head, that version of what I call the saboteur was definitely with me from a young age. The youngest I can remember is probably about 8 years old. When I was swimming in my grandparents' swimming pool in Florida, we would go there for the summer. And there was a young, also almost my age, girl who lived in the neighborhood. And she would come over and play with us. And her name's Jody. Well, Jody would come over and she was a friend, right? What she didn't know and what other people didn't know is that my mind, my lower mind, my saboteur mind compared me to her incessantly. I was the white girl, the white girl that sunburnt like crazy. I've got very fair Irish skin and strawberry blonde hair and freckles. And She had the golden California style skin with dark eyes and dark hair, and her skin just loved the sun. Now I love the sun too, but the sun did not love my skin. So I secretly in my own head would imagine, what if I had skin like that? If I only looked like Jody. And then she was also very thin and taller than me. So for those that know me, I'm 5'4", on a good day, 5'5", and on a better day with heels, 5'6". However, I was an average girl, yet when I was with my friends, especially Jody, I would compare myself to her and think of how thin she was and how tall she was, and her legs were longer. And we know these stories, right? We know that the mind does this. Now, why does it do this? It does it because we're trying to find safety and comparing ourselves to others and wanting to fit in so that we're loved, so we're accepted, so we're not ridiculed or shamed or embarrassed is part of our human experience, like it or not. Hopefully, we get to the time in our lives where we no longer need to compare ourselves to others and we find our own self love. Now, it takes time and it takes a journey, and sometimes it takes a lot of pain. So, that was the young version of Tina Marie. That I can easily tap into that feeling of not feeling good enough, knowing that my body and who and what I was in was never going to amount what I wanted to be. I longed to have a tan. I remember asking my parents if we could move to California. We lived in Texas growing up, and I remember asking them, can we just move to California? Because somewhere in my young mind, I thought that whenever you cross the border of California, that you automatically get granted a tan. And I thought, if only I could connect the dots of these freckles, then somewhere it would look like I had a tan instead of a burn and lots of freckles. So comparing is a place where we create pain in ourselves completely. And it doesn't matter how old we are, if we're still comparing ourselves to an old version of ourselves, like back when we had it all together, back when we were thinner, back when we were, maybe we had more money back then and we hadn't lost it all. Maybe when we had opportunities or maybe luck on our side or something, that there's a past version of ourselves that we can compare ourselves to and create pain just in that mechanism. And then there's comparing to our future selves, like whenever we get to a certain place, whenever I finally get there, whenever I have this degree or this certification, or whenever I have this amount of money in the bank, or when I'm finally out of debt, or when I meet that person and can feel loved by someone else, or just fill in the blank, right? When we compare ourselves to a future version of ourselves that we haven't reached, then we create pain there as well. And the worst part of pain is, or comparing, is when we compare ourselves to the now, and our now is not what we would love. And our now is painful, and our now is stuck, and our now is desperate, and our now is lonely, and our now is full of shame or regret or remorse. Having pain in the now and not knowing how to escape it or move away from it or transform it or do anything different from it is, oh God, it just feels awful, doesn't it? Just talking about it, just us being together in this particular energy of stuckness. It's painful and it's part of humanity, right? Yet it doesn't need to always be part of humanity. So fast forward in my life, this insecurity, this level of not feeling good enough, this comparing myself to other people, this wanting to be something I wasn't yet and not even having a plan on how to get to that place where I wanted to be, but knew that I had to get there. I look back on that place now and I realize she was definitely stuck, but more than that, she wasn't alone on her journey. So if you find yourself in these stuck places, I want you to know you're not alone on your journey. And that is a bit of an exhale, isn't it? None of us on this journey get to escape life without certain levels of pain. And sometimes it's massive levels of pain and stuckness. So I was there. I was there. So another version of my life I'd love to share is where I was married. This is my previous marriage. I was married. I was living in the big house, the really big house. Even my grandmother called it a mansion. Honey, why do you need to live in a mansion? And I remember that I don't know when she first came into my house and she literally thought I was living in a mansion. Now this is a 4,000 square foot home and 5 bedrooms. It was a very nice home, very nice home. Yet I didn't see it as a mansion. And I remember there's a part of me thinking, I'd like to live in a mansion. This wasn't it, but to grandma, it was definitely a mansion. I can see why and how. Yeah. So here I was in this suburban gated community. I had arrived. I was living in one of the more established, very well considered upper echelon neighborhoods, driving the BMW and the Lexus and the Suburban, all those trappings of what life is supposed to look like when you arrive at a place, right? Married, we went on and had the 2 plus kids. We had, my stepdaughter who was, with Rick from his previous marriage, and then we had our 2, a boy and a girl. Of course, you're filling out the blueprint, have one of each. And then we had the dogs and we had the cat, and everything looked great. If everything looked great, then I would ask myself, why is it that I was unhappy? Why was I unhappy? And it wasn't 100% unhappy across the board. It wasn't all the time. Yet there would come these swells of either pressure to create and be more than what I was already, to that drivenness to succeed. Or I would take where the success was and say, well, because I've fought so hard for this and it's not delivering the happiness that I thought would be the result of it, then I would look upon that success and wonder what's wrong with me. Has anybody else been there? What's wrong with me that I can't find happiness with what I have? So I turned to spirituality. And turning to spirituality was that, that proverbial I've got the water level above my head. My hand is outstretched above the surface of the water, and I'm counting down to 3. Because it seemed like I'd done everything right, yet things still felt wrong. If you've ever been there, I can totally empathize. What came out of my spiritual journeys, which, bless my ex-husband, he saw me through a lot of these. I studied with Buddhist masters, sought them out. I studied Buddhism, I studied Islam, I studied different versions of Christianity, from Protestantism to Catholicism. I studied Hinduism. I studied Sufism. I was on a journey to find answers. And in those many, many years with all the malas and the mantras and the veganism and the um, frustrations, all of them, I do not regret any of it. It taught me a ton and a lot of self-respect, a lot of respect for different cultures and different religions and different belief systems. I'm very grateful for that. And what I learned was happiness was at the other end of realizing that there is inherently in each one of our psyches as humans, no matter the background, no matter the culture, no matter the belief system, no matter how we're raised or how we're not raised, no matter the amount of money in the bank account or not in the bank account, the number of degrees or certifications, the things, the trappings, that every single one of us has something in common. And it's that we have what I call the inner saboteur. And that inner saboteur is there on purpose to create a level of doubt, a level of hesitancy, a level of fear in order to keep us safe. So the irony is that fear keeps us safe. The act of fearing, the act of questioning, the act of distancing, the act of being of a protective nature, the act of not trusting, all of it leads to being safe. Think about it. If we are alone and no one's around us because we push them away because we do not trust, if we are ultimately protected from humanity hurting us again or from things going wrong as much as we can control, and trust me, I was that person that would white knuckle everything, trying to control things, plan it all out to the T, to the nth degree, only to find that my efforts did not prevail, right? If we are in that place of ultimate anguish, one thing that we are is safe because no one's around us, because we won't let people in. We won't share our truth. We won't ask for help. We don't tell people what's going on for us, really. And even if we did, it would only be a version of it because we're dipping our toe in the water of, can I trust them? And am I safe here? Or are they going to shame me, embarrass me, think differently of me, not love me anymore? I know the stories very well. I dealt with them very intimately inside of my own mind. And there came a day where I realized that there was an entity, an energy, a voice that I could fight. And that saboteur is not me. When that realization came into my being, my entire life shifted. When I realized without a doubt that self doubt, lack of self trust, feeling not good enough, feeling unlovable, seeing the world from a distance and judging things as not safe, not believing I'd ever really trust again or allow myself to be loved again because ultimately it would hurt. When the realization came into my being that there's an entity, a voice, a power, an energy that can be absolutely fought against and transformed, and I experienced it and I did it. I did it for me. I did it to get my life back. I did it because there was something stronger than that voice that I allowed be the direction I headed in, and that direction was love. May sound simple, right? All we need is love, right? Not true. What we really need is faith and the knowing that there's something greater for us, no matter how desperate and dark life can get, how painful life can get. And we need to learn how to turn that voice off. We need to learn how to turn off the voice of self-doubt. We need to learn how to fight back against that hesitance, that part that would otherwise just have us stay absolutely stuck because absolutely stuck equals absolutely safe. But damn, is that painful? We can fight against it. I was there. I did the fight. I did the fight again. I did the fight again. What I realized is the more I fought back, the quieter it got. The more that voice, that sabotaging voice, began to trust me because my power came back into my being. And that power was the true me. That power was my soul. And I'd forgotten my soul. I'd forgotten how to engage it. And despite all the meditative practices I'd done, and they were great and beautiful, and I got to go into these imaginative, ethereal places and visit what I thought was the seat of God and move into this beautiful blue, neon blue orb that had gold speckles in it. And I called it God and I heard God, and it was very comforting and beautiful and warm. And in that meditative experience that happened many, many times, it spoke to me, Om. It said its entire resonance was Om. And so then I started realizing why certain religions and spiritual practices cultivate that sound of Om, because it was real. And I'll never trade any of that for anything. The one thing that came out of it is I knew who I was. And I knew that that was the truth. That was who I was, not all these other pieces of doubt and worry, resistance, hesitance, regret, anguish, all of it was an illusion, a very real illusion, totally, because the pain is real. Yet I learned how to take my power back. And I'm grateful for those days because since then, and it's been, if I do the math correctly, you do the math with me, since 2009, right? 2009, my life absolutely shifted. And then it became even more clear. Each time I would find a new level of understanding, of self resonance, of self power of my voice. And I can tell you, even my voice changed. So the voice that I had way back then, it's so funny. I don't even recognize her anymore. I can hear her in videos, like, I replay the videos that we took whenever the kids were little, and I can hear my voice, and I'm like, "Who is that? Oh my god, that was me." My voice changed because my power changed, because the symphony, orchestra, chamber inside of my soul expanded, and in that chamber is the resonance of our voice and our knowing. My voice changed. I remember back in my 20s and even my early 30s, whenever I would sneeze, it's hysterical to think of how I sneezed. It was like, I'm not kidding you. It was like, people go, "What was that? A dog? Did you just step on a little dog? What was that?" I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm sneezing." I remember people going, "That is not a sneeze. What are you doing? You're hurting yourself. You're holding it all in." And I was. I was holding in a freaking sneeze because I didn't want to be embarrassed. This was me. And I don't laugh at her, that version of her. It's just now on this side of the expansiveness and the knowing of who I truly am. Now, when I sneeze, it is the whole freaking room's going to hear it. Not because I want them to hear it, because that's the true sneeze. I mean, like, sneezes have power behind them, right? Sneezes need to get whatever's in out. And of course, you cover your sneeze and you take care of business, but then you like, excuse me, sorry. And people go gesundheit or bless you, right? Before, when I'd sneeze, they didn't know what to say. Like, what was that? That's just one version of, finding yourself. I mean, these are crazy versions of myself back then that was so embarrassed. I didn't want to have negative attention be brought my way for fear of embarrassment and shame. I remember her. Oh, I love her. That version of me. Ah, the insecure. And I made it look good, right? People didn't know all the pain going on inside. I remember being in the front yard. I took a phone call with a friend and I was sad that day. I don't even remember what triggered the sadness. I do remember being in the front yard and walking around the front yard and going, I don't think I love myself. I think I'm like ultimately broken inside. I think something's inherently wrong with me. And my friend on the other end of the phone was going, "No, you're fine. Everything's great. Why do you say these things?" And I know that, she was trying to help me and fix me, but there was this true belief system inside of me that I am something inherently inside of me is broken. What I come to learn is the broken part was a saboteur that was alive inside my psyche, and I didn't know that it was taking up real estate, and it wasn't me, and I needed to move that part of the psyche out. I needed to cleanse it, and I didn't know how. I was completely stuck, but now I know how. And so I wanted to share something with you. I produced this event. It's called Abolish Your Inner Saboteur, and it's damn powerful. I mean, like, freaking awesome powerful. It's transformed the lives of thousands. And if I would, because I am an introvert at heart, and it takes a lot of gumption, as my mother would say, for me to pull people around me and produce this event. I need to get out of my own way, really, because it's helped so many people. And even the people that it's helped said, "You need to be doing this for thousands of people. What's going on?" But truth be known, I'm an introvert and I'm gaining the energy to get outside myself. And, we're all evolving, right? So right now the event is, I love about a max of 20 to 30 people because we're coming out of a pandemic and we're starting this for the first time. Again, in the last time I did it was a year ago in February, because we're doing it for the first time. And I want to have an energy about it and a resonance and an intimacy. It's going to be 12 people inside the room live with us, and then however many want to gather on Zoom. So I want to take you through our workbook. So there's a workbook that you get, and I'm going to read just the front page to you. Okay. It says, "Welcome to Abolish Your Inner Saboteur. We all want to be happy, to feel a sense of personal power, and to find fulfillment and meaning in our lives. We want to feel secure about our money position, relationships, health, and the work we do in the world, as it provides a natural confidence from which we hope to begin each new day and lead our lives." Yes, right. You could say yes to that. I can say yes to that. And it continues. "When we see results in our progress, we can feel great about ourselves and confident in our direction. We are more approachable and at ease. We get along with others and they get along with us. When we love our jobs and our careers, when we see that we are making progress, when our relationships feel solid and full of trust, when we have our finances figured out, when our health is good and our families are taken care of, our inner doubting voice remains at a distance. Then, at the most successful runs of our lives, the times when we are most happy, most at peace, and most certain, we can still get hit by a wall of doubt and uncertainty. So, where does doubt come from? And why is it so life sapping? What do we do when doubt, worry, anger, and reactivity surface? Do we have the mental and emotional power to withstand our inner sabotaging mind? Do we let a comment we perceive as hurtful fall to the wayside and find empathy there? Or do we allow the sabotaging voice in our heads to command the upper hand? And do we create more triggeredness and reactivity in its wake? So, do we create more pain in our lives when the demons of self doubt hijack our thinking? So, it's in between this gap of self sabotage and our greatest desires that the inner saboteur lives. And what I do at Abolish Your Inner Saboteur with you and with a small cohort of other people is we transform that self doubt. We transform the hesitance. We transform the worry. We transform anger, reactivity, fear, confusion, all of it into absolute power. Given tools and strategies that I teach you in a very short time frame, what I call the abolish process. So I'm stepping through the workbook a little bit more because I just want to take a couple things out of here so you'll know what the event is about. I hope you understand where your inner saboteurs come from and its MO. How does it act? How does it sabotage you? How does it take your power away? And how do you get your energy back? We map the saboteur gap across all areas of your life, from family, health, money, career, your business, understanding your intimate relationships. And the most intimate relationship is with you, your higher power. We get to create the understanding of what we call how sabotaged are you. And then we give you the very tools to undo it. I can't wait to share this again. So it's coming up May 21st and 22nd here, 2021. May 21st and 22nd. It's a live event. If you're in the Houston area, we start on Friday night. We'll start, doors open at 6:30 p.m. You get a great workbook. You get all these tchotchkes that are very powerful tchotchkes too, that align with the entire purpose of Abolish. And we feed you things of that nature. The biggest thing is that you come out with an absolute understanding of where the saboteur comes in. You have absolute strategy on how to stop it in an instant, seriously. And there's no more excuses. So the downside is, once you learn of these strategies and you learn of the mechanism and you see it for what it is, the downside is you can't hide from it anymore. I mean, you can keep telling yourself the story of being unlovable, not being good enough. You could tell yourself the story of not trusting other people, that life is out to get you. You could tell the story. You could tell the fear story, but you won't be able to believe it anymore. We pull that mask off the faces and we put you back in charge. Put your warrior back in charge and that strength of your soul back in charge of your destiny. And I can guarantee life is never the same. It's absolutely beautiful. Then there's an entire level of empathy that develops out of it, because people that have never been through the Abolish framework and the Abolish Your Inner Saboteur live event, you're going to know they haven't, and you'll be able to see and hear them from a whole different place. We call it around here, you're going to see box people. And it's a kind way to say that people are asleep. The majority of humans are asleep and they're not aware of these patterns, but you will be. And once you are aware, the choices that you make are clear, concise, effortless, and on track with your soul's calling. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'd rather be awake than not. So if you're interested, this is what you're going to simply do. You're going to go to bonfirecoaching.com, BONFIRE coaching, COACHING.com, bonfirecoaching.com. You're going to see right there on the front page, Abolish your inner saboteur. You're going to click on Tell Me More. If you want to learn more about it, you can watch videos that I have there. You can watch testimonial videos from people who have actually taken the event and transformed their lives and what they say. And then you can buy a ticket. There's a handful of tickets left. Hopefully, by the time you hear this, there are still some tickets left for the live event. And there's room on Zoom, always room on Zoom, right? Get yourself there. Get the people you love there. If you are going to be participating on Zoom for one simple $97 ticket, you can fill your house and everybody can be watching and listening to the same computer. I want this for humanity because we deserve to wake up. We deserve to absolutely love our lives. We deserve to stop the patterns that are creating limiting beliefs. We deserve to no longer create hurt in our lives and understand how to undo hurt. We deserve to have amazing relationships, careers, businesses. We deserve to have an abundant, amazing life full of connection and love. We all deserve that. And it's right here. Now, even if your life is absolutely amazing, I ask, please attend Abolish because I need you on our side. I need you as part of the family that's allowing these tools and the recognition and the understanding of these tools that are very simple yet powerful to be in humanity because now's the time. And if you're a coach and you're listening, we have a coaching academy where you can learn these tools and take them to your clients. I guess I am recruiting. I'm recruiting people that are here for humanity's evolution. And I want to show you some tools and strategies that are so easy to remember, easy to put in place, and easy to share with others because the time is now. It's time to come out of fear. It's time to come into power and really own this amazing, beautiful experience that we have called life. So please do go to bonfirecoaching.com, learn more about Abolish Your Inner Saboteur. And if your inner voice is saying, well, May 21st and 22nd, I already have something going on, we're going to do it two more times this year. So simply go over to Bonfire Coaching, bookmark the page, join our list so I can keep you abreast of the other dates that are coming, and say yes to something that will absolutely light your life on fire. You'll never regret this. I guarantee it. Become part of a movement that is allowing humanity to wake up. So today we talked about self-doubt. We talked about hurt, regret, everything that's keeping you from your dreams, and the strategies available to you in order to light your life on fire. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for listening today to Light Your Life. I'm Tina Marie Saints here, founder of Bonfire Coaching and creator of the Abolish Your Inner Saboteur framework. Do subscribe to the Light Your Life podcast, where we get to learn from others who have surmounted the odds and turned their lives into amazement that we can learn from. Until next time, Tina Marie Saints here. I can't wait to be with you again. Take care.